Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from SimpleProgrammer.com. So originally I was going to do two videos. I have two videos on my board. One called Let's Talk About Millennials, and another one basically about how getting a degree doesn't entitle you to shit. But I realized that they're pretty much the same thing, so I'm just going to talk about both of those concepts at once here. So if you are easily triggered, or you're hypersensitive, or you feel really entitled, you might want to turn off the YouTube channel and take a little bit of a rest, maybe lay down somewhere, because I'm probably going to trigger you right now. So let's talk about what's triggered me on this. So a person that I know did a video where they basically talked about how, oh gosh, how can I put this? That people are such valuable assets to companies, and that you got to treat people well, otherwise us millennials will just leave because we're valuable and stuff, and basically screw the CEO making millions of dollars, income inequality and all of this stuff, and our generation, our millennial generation, we can go and we don't have to work for you. We don't have to work for evil corporations. Instead, we can go and become Uber drivers, or we can share our stuff with Airbnb, or we can make our own jobs on YouTube. It's really hard to do, but we can make our own jobs, right? We don't need you guys. So I don't mean to make too much fun. And let me put it this way, right? Not all millennials are the same, but there is this sort of mentality in that generation which sort of ticks me off, because obviously I've done videos on oh gosh, which one should I even point to? Like, life is not fair, and stop being so fucking lazy, and whatever. You can probably find a playlist. There should be a playlist, maybe I should make a playlist of videos of John berating people for being lazy or thinking that things are not fair, or disadvantaged and disgruntled. The trigger people playlist. That's what that should be. The trigger people playlist, or whatever it is. Anyway, my point is that it's not that I'm against millennials, right? It's that I'm against this idea, and I think there's this really strong current of this idea that of entitlement, of thinking that you're special just because you you take up oxygen, right? And I'm not saying, and this is kind of funny, because I am one of those people that thinks that everyone is special, and that you should tell your kids that they're special, and you should foster self-confidence, and you should tell your children and tell people they can do anything, right? Obviously that's the message that I constantly give at Simple Programmer here, but that's not the same thing as thinking that if you don't do anything, if you don't use what you got, that you're going to continue to be special. You have I guess what I'm saying when I tell people this is, you have the potential to be special, right? You have the potential to be awesome, to be whatever you want. No one can stop you, but it exists in potential, right? I remember I did this video where I said that you should devalue yourself currently and increase the value that you give to your potential. Because what you think you are right now, the hot shit you think you are right now, you probably need to take that down 2 notches. But what you think you could do in the future, you probably have a lower estimation. You probably need to take that up 2 notches, right? That's a healthy ego, right? Is to be able to see that you can become more, but not to think that you're so hot right now, right? It doesn't mean to have low self-confidence, but just to have a more realistic evaluation. And I think that a lot of millennials, and I know that a lot of you are watching this, and if it doesn't apply to you, right? You shouldn't be pissed off oh, John is grouping all the millennials. If it doesn't apply to you, if you're an exception, an old soul or whatever it is that they call the exceptions, that already. So, I'm preaching to the choir. But if you think certain things, and this is where I'm going to get into the second topic here. If you think, for example, that getting a college degree means you're owed a fucking job, you're sadly mistaken, my friend. If you think being smart entitles you to anything in this world, you are sadly mistaken again, my friend, because that doesn't mean jack shit, right? You could get a degree and, you can complain. You can say, oh, I paid all this money. I did all the work. Where's my fucking job? I'm sorry, but there was no contract that said that just because you went and did the steps that you get something for that. And you can be really smart. There's a lot of really smart people I know, right? There's a lot of really smart people working at Burger King. Okay, being smart doesn't give you jack shit. You're not entitled to anything, right? I'll tell you what, though, if you want something, you got to work for it, right? And yeah, I did that video. Again, I'll point to it that life is unfair. Life is unfair. That's fine. You got to deal with that, right? You can't come with this idea, this mentality that, the world owes you something, that someone owes you something, that life is going to be fair, that it's all supposed to work out for you. Now, I believe in serendipity. I believe in fate moving in strong ways to make your destiny be achieved. But I believe that you have to be the primary factor in that. I believe that you have to be the one that's moving mountains, right? You align the things. You set up the opportunities. You keep swinging that bat, and that's what gets you the result. It's not owed to you. It's not, you versus the corporations or them. If you want to be an Uber driver, oh gosh, that just cracks me up, because the thing is, right? An Uber driver is not freedom. It's a worse form of enslavement. It's employment where you get no benefits, where you are a cog in the machine, thinking you have your own business. It's the lie, it's the promise, it's the MLM promise. It's the same thing with Uber. Nothing against Uber. I love this service. I use it. But those guys driving Uber cars, most of them, they're not fucking entrepreneurs, okay? Now, some of them are, and they're trying to sell other shit. But my point is that they are being taken advantage of more so than someone who's just working a job and getting a paycheck and getting health care and other benefits, right? I was just listening to historically the samurai, right? And I was thinking about this. The samurai, back in that day, right? It was kind of tough, right? Like if they dishonored themselves, if they lost in battle or something, or they did something wrong, basically what they did was seppuku, right? Or however that's pronounced, right? We call it, what do we call it? The other word for it. Anyway, they took a knife and they basically disemboweled themselves, right? They cut themselves in a circular motion, and then right before they're about to die, someone cut their head off, one of their buddies, right? This is what they did. They committed suicide if they screwed up, if they lost a battle. They had that much grit, right? So it's pretty funny to me when someone complains, when they're like, oh, I'm being taken advantage of, income disparity, and all this. When I think, man, your life is so damn hard, isn't it? Because you got a college degree, or you made a couple of YouTube videos or an Instagram page, and you expect to get paid, right? Just because you're smart or whatever. You went through a couple of hoops, and everything didn't work out beautifully for you. Man, maybe you should go back in time to like the samurai period in Japan and see how you would cut it as a samurai. I mean, you'd be like, would you even have the guts to would you even be able to survive? You'd just be a coward there, right? You'd have no grit. You have no fortitude, right? You know what I'm saying? Like complaining and whining about this kind of stuff. I can't even imagine going back in time. I mean, have we become that soft? Have we become that weak? That we complain in our air-conditioned offices, right? Really? I mean, you go to a restaurant in the United States, you got free refills of the Coke, you got clean bathrooms with toilet paper in them. I mean, we're living in a time in history, at least in the United States, where prosperity is the default. So if you're going to complain about that, I just don't even understand it. So anyway, to wrap this up, to tie it all together, what I'm saying is basically this. Look, nobody owes you shit. Having a degree, being smart, whatever, none of that is owed to you. There's nothing that's owed to you. But if you want something, if you want to achieve something in life, stop whining. Stop caring about what is fair, what other people did, what you think you're entitled to. because you're not entitled to any of that shit. What you are entitled to is a hard day's worth of work. And, you should really think about what the purpose of that is, right? It's in itself. The reward is the work. The reward is doing a good job. It's not what you get, right? It's great to get stuff. It's great to have an achievement. But the real thing that you're doing is you're building your character. You are accomplishing things, right? So don't take all this stuff for granted. Don't assume that you're going to get stuff, and and don't be one of those people. Instead, put your head down, get going towards your goals. Don't worry about inequality. Don't worry about unfairness. Yes, that stuff happens, and yes, it's unfair and it's unequal, and then you can get all butthurt and upset about all that stuff, but it's not going to get you anywhere. No one's going to care about it. So that's all I got to say about that. I just like I said, I despise this idea that is put forth by so many people that think that they're special, that they're an exception to the rule. I believe everyone is special, but like I said, it's the potential to be special. You have you have an awesome potential within you, but if you choose not to exercise that potential, don't expect to get the rewards that someone who does exercise that potential gets. So anyway, that's it. If you like this video, I know you guys, you like these videos where I just like bring the hellfire to you. I know it. You guys like it. You're what is it? Is it a sadist? I'm a masochist and you're a sadist. It's okay. But anyway, if you like the video, subscribe to the channel. If someone needs a good kick in the ass, send it to them. They won't appreciate it, but you can laugh. So, and anyway, if you'd like to join the Facebook community and we can just talk about how, all these millennials all day, you can check out the Patreon page and support the channel. But that's it. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.